The following segment is sponsored by Daniel A. White and Associates. It does not necessarily reflect the views of WDEL or Forever Media.
The Rick Jensen Show on 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, WDEL, and streaming to your smart speaker and mobile device.
Every Wednesday after the news at 1:30, you get to learn something from one of the fine professionals at Dan White and Associates. Professional financial advisors specializing in retirement income. Andrew Woods on the phone from the Middletown office. Hey, Andrew, how you doing, sir?
Doing great, Rick. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being had. I appreciate it. You know, every time you guys call in, seriously, we always learn something. And you sent me this email that reads, caution when filing for Social Security after FRA and backdating. I'm going like, FRA? Federal Railroad Retirement Association? I don't even know what that is, FRA. What is that?
Yeah, full retirement age.
Oh.
So that is when you're able to collect your full benefit, depending on your year of birth. So if you're born in 1960 or later, your full retirement age is age 67. If you're born prior to that, then there's a little calculation in there, but it's either between 66 or maybe 66 in a few months, depending on when you were born.
Okay, so I thought, like, for everybody, it was best just wait till you're 70 and do it then. No?
Okay, so that really does depend on the situation, and I think if you know your listeners have been listening for a long time, over the years we've talked about the importance of Social Security and really making sure that you're making the best decision for yourself, and those decisions are unique. But everyone who is nearing Social Security age, you should recognize that the longer that you do wait to take those Social Security checks, the more that you're going to get.
A lot more sometimes, yeah.
Absolutely. It depends on how long you're going to wait. But once you hit full retirement age, you get what's called delayed retirement credits, which is a guaranteed 8% increase to your income every year that you wait to draw. And on top of that, you get cost of living adjustments.
Yeah.
So the longer you wait, the more that you're going to get. Now, I ran into a situation just a few weeks ago, and this is actually one of the publications that we subscribe to. There was a question that was actually sent into them saying, from another advisor that said, look, I have a client who's 69. They just claimed Social Security benefits. Social Security contacted them and gave him the option to backdate his claim for 6 months. And they said that they would pay him a lump sum that represents a retroactive payment of benefits he would have collected without the delayed retirement credits, the increases, and then he would collect his benefits going forward with the reduced amount per month. So basically what they said is, look, we'll give you 6 months of payments, but going forward, you're not going to get that increase by waiting those 6 months.
Wait a minute.
Right.
Unless you're in dire health, that does not seem like a good idea.
Well, and that was kind of the thing. It says, is this true? Is it? How is it not too good to be true? And it's very tempting, right? I mean, 6 months could be what, 12,000, 20,000, you know what I mean, of payments, and it's very, very tempting. All right, so it's tempting for individuals to say, you know what, yeah, give me those 6 months. I don't care about missing out on a 4% the 4% guaranteed increase on my paycheck. I don't care. Just give me the 6 months, and they'll just get the reduced payment going forward. It's very tempting, and people will do it. And it seems like it's almost common practice. But again, if you're waiting, if you're delaying, or if you don't need it, you're going to get a higher check. And usually, if you're have implemented that delay strategy, you have some kind of retirement plan that said, you know what, I'm going to hold off on these. But again, if you take that bait that they give you, then you're not really executing that plan to, what it was designed for. So you just got to be very careful with that. In this example, it was 6 months. I don't know what happened, what was the outcome, but I just ran into a situation not too long ago where they actually were offering to backdate even further than that. And again, very, very tempting. But when we're looking at cash flow, making sure you have enough income to pay your bills and expenses, in that situation, it didn't really make a lot of sense for them to do it. But from my understanding, it's almost common practice that they're going to offer this.
All right, shut up, you punk kid. I can buy a fishing boat. I'll buy a fishing boat. So
again, not to scare anyone, but again, it's one of those things. If you have a plan before you actually make that decision. Make sure it fits within your plan. Make sure that, you're solid on this. Because, again, it is very tempting. 6 months or more of backdated checks, that can be very tempting. But, again, make sure it fits in within your plan.
Yeah, let's think about this for a second because, like you guys always say, retirement, it's all about income, Mm-hmm. So they backdate 6 months, and let's say it's $12,000. You go, like, wow, it's $12,000. But you're giving up, let's say, a 4%. So how many months does it take to get to that $12,000 at 4% of your monthly check? So you figure your monthly checks, and it seems to me like after a year you'd be regretting that, or am I mistaken? What would be the math on that?
That's a good question. It is going to take longer than that, but that's if you're looking at break even. And the way that I look at it is every additional dollar that you get from Social Security should mean one less dollar that you're dependent to pull out of any retirement savings plan. So you have to take that into consideration too.
Yeah.
You're getting more, from Social Security, but you might need to pull out more, from that point forward from your retirement plan. So you're putting more stress on your retirement plan. So again, it's just really important to make sure that you know what you're doing here, and you're not making that, these types of mistakes. Yeah, because
$12,000, even if you put it into an insured contract with 7 or 8% guaranteed, or if you put it into a money market fund that's paying say 5.25%, that doesn't seem like it's going to make it up for you after a short number of months. I'm not doing the calculation in my head. But and you said 1 year. Okay, it'll take longer than that. 2 or 3 years? I mean, it just seems to me that at some point you're going to regret that because you've given up the additional income. It's kind of like someone wins the lottery. You can take the annuity, and that'll keep paying until you die and it's gone, or you take a lesser amount of a lump sum, and the idea being you invest that and you have more money than you would have with the annuity, and you can give it to a surviving spouse or kid or something like that. This is a weird kind of calculation, man, especially when it's the government. Yes, hey, Andrew, I tell you what, I got $12,000 here, and if you take the $12,000 here from me, the government, then we'll just backdate that, but we'll pay a little less amount every month, but you'll have the $12,000. Hey, kid, wouldn't you like that? It just right. It seems kind of slippery that the government would actually try to do that. So I feel very weird about the whole thing.
Yeah. Well, again, it would be interesting to actually listen in on some of those conversations, but again, it is very tempting. So again, just make sure you make that decision. You have a plan for it. Not to mention, and this isn't tax advice or anything, but again, those distributions, you get hit with that lump sum, you're going to, it's Social Security income, a portion of that's going to be taxed too. So you got to keep that in mind too.
A portion of that's taxed, and if you're making income, be careful, that could push you into the upper bracket too.
You got it.
Oh, man. All right, so it's great to work with a guy like you, Andrew Wood at Dan White & Associates. Give him a call at 888-690-8820. And apparently he likes it when you make funny voices. But he'll take he'll take you take everything seriously. I know you, great sense of humor, but you do take all of this very, very seriously, and I appreciate that. I always enjoy talking with you about this. So but I had no idea that people were getting those phone calls to Social Security, which to me, I mean, if you live to 78 years old and you're taking it even at 70 or before that, it seems like you'd be losing out on money. That's just my initial reaction. It seems like you'd be losing money, and I know that you'll do the calculation for everybody when they call in at 888-690-8820. And Andrew works with you, and he's not going to charge you anything to sit down and go over your finances and see where you stand with retirement. Now, Dan White hosts a program called On the Money here on WDEL, 1150 AM and 1017 FM, Sunday mornings at 7 o'clock. This Sunday morning, what's he going to be talking about?
Recurring required minimum distribution issues, some of the things that people run into, what we see over the years, and helping to avoid those types of mistakes. So, problems when the government says you got to take this money out, and if you don't, we're going to whack you. And he warns us how to avoid that. Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
That's just my vernacular. So Sunday morning, 7 o'clock. Go ahead, get yourself a cup of coffee, maybe a little something you like for breakfast, and a and a pad of paper and a pen or pencil because you're going to want to take notes. On the Money, Sunday morning, 7 o'clock here on WDEL. Andrew, have a great rest of the week, man. I really appreciate the phone call.
You too, Greg. Thank you.
Okay, take care. It's 302-529-1017, 302-529-1017.